Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for access support. Any kind of updates I usually go about on Twitter X. Um, Not much else happening in terms of channel updates. Already completed Planet of Lana gameplay series there. Next week, so Monday, I will be introducing Jusaw as a new gameplay series. So when it comes, I will eventually let everybody know. Just as usual, a quick reminder that I already have some complete gameplay series here on the main page of the channel. So let's go to the news. There seems to be a rumor regarding the RTX 5060 Ti and non-Ti GPUs here. Probably they're going to be announced April 15. So I don't know, around 10, 11 days from today. And it seems, again, according to these rumors, again, no official information yet, that they are going to just basically replace the 4060 Ti and non-Ti versions of the 40 series there, especially in terms of pricing, it seems. If it is so, I don't know what NVIDIA is thinking about. Um, we already have, again, comparatively in terms of MSRP, we all know how that is going, being with NVIDIA and also with AMD. I tackled that a little bit yesterday. Um, if they are maintaining the MSRPs, which supposedly for the 5060 Ti, the 16 gigabytes version should be around $500. If it is the same that the 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes, I don't know what they are doing there. Um, doesn't seem that good. The 5070 non-Ti is 550. So I'm not sure what they're trying to do there in terms of MSRPs. I think they need to be way, way, way more aggressive. And even with competition at around about $500 to $600, you have excellent deals even from previous generations, especially from AMD. I did watch, at least for the American market, let's say, I watched a J2 Cents episode. He was trying to see if it is possible to build a pretty decent uh, PC case, not a complete system with monitors and peripherals, with $1,500. And especially with the Micro Center deals, they have their own bundles and the such. It did manage to build an excellent PC system for that money and taking the characteristics of the components there. Um, and some deals are really enticing, at least on the American market. Again, the other markets, I don't follow too much the market trends. But the fact that he did manage to build an AMD system, again, he bought I forgot the CPU there. I think it was a 9070 100X, if not mistaken, or something along those lines. But the fact that he had a bundle for the motherboard and for the memory, 32 gigabytes, and the fact that if you buy an AMD GPU, if you have a discount of $100 on an AMD GPU if you buy an AMD CPU, and he did pick an excellent deal for that price, which was the 7900 XT, which was at the time of his video was $600, and again $100 discount basically was $500 if not mistaken. Those were the prices, if I'm remembering correctly. And yeah, for that price, buying a 7900 XT, 20 gigabytes of VRAM, uh, does run 4K games without any big issues. At least, again, you're not going to play everything on epic settings, of course. Again, we got RDNA free, that in terms of ray tracing is not a good performer. But again, playing 4K 60, it's more than achievable in basically all games. Um, at least in the minimum of medium settings native. At least that's the perception that I got in terms of performance of that GPU. Again, you got a lot of still decent deals if you look for it, even from previous generations. Again, these companies try to FOMO people on getting in on this new GPU stuff there. And again, in terms of even with the newer launches, um, if you manage to buy a 9070 around the MSRP, which is around also, if not mistaken, 500 and something dollars. Again, assume that it performs very well, especially compared. It beats the 5070, so it will beat for sure the 5060 Ti. Again, this rumor prices, it's a little bit all over the place. The fact that it doesn't make a lot of sense if NVIDIA wants to sell GPUs, especially at this with in this series with this segment of the 60 series. Again, if these rumors are correct, maintaining or basically replacing the 40 series of the same segment of the 60 cards there. Again, I don't know what they're thinking. A lot of people are buying AMD cards, or at least they prefer to get the better option on the AMD cards usually. And again, as I mentioned, even from previous generations, we got still pretty good deals if you look for them. And again, American market got Micro Center, which usually does excellent bundles. It's just a matter of you having the awareness of the budget that you have and be realistic with that given the prices that we are encountering, especially on the GPU side of things. With that said, in terms of CPUs, AMD basically is capturing around 80% of the CPU market, according this to Amazon US. Again, this is from US stats, and it's relatively to the month of March, of previous month. Basically, it's generating around 5 times more revenue than Intel, which is something to behold. Again, given that the most selling or the best selling, sorry, CPU is the 9800X 3D from March, topping everything around 6,000 units of this CPU just in the month of March, which is a little bit crazy. The fact that this CPU is around about $500, give or take, supposedly is 480. Uh, Again, I will assume with Micro Center, but this is Amazon stats. I'm not sure if there is bundles on Amazon US with this CPU with some kind of motherboard deal or with even with some RAM deal. I don't know, or even with a cooler stuff, cooler deal there. But the fact that it's selling just in this month of March around at least 6,000 units, it's also to a certain point demonstrates the fact that we've been seeing this popping out issue with the 9800 X3D is not working a little bit above what we can consider normal. Again, this CPU is really selling like hotcakes. The next best one, it seems to be the Ryzen 5 5500, which is like very budget oriented CPU. Usually it sells below $90. Again, AMD is dominating here, and in those best-selling CPUs, you got also the 7800 XD, also supposedly selling pretty well. The 9000 series, again, the productivity focused CPUs also selling decently. In terms of Intel, the best-selling ones is 1200, 12700K, so 12th generation, sold around 1,000 units, around about there, for around $240 on average each CPU. And then you get the more budgeted mid tier, I think the 12400F, which usually competes against the 5600X from AMD. It's around $30 cheaper and trades blows with it. That's why I think it's selling better than the 5600X. Again, even though 5600X is a pretty solid CPU, it was on my consideration when I start doing some budgetary considerations of what we're trying to do here. And again, on a more budget-friendly side, I at the time, this is like a year ago, I considered the first one was the 5600X. Then I had on the second choice the 5800 X3D at the time. But then, in the meantime, the prices from the 7000 series CPUs, they started creeping a little bit more on the budget friendly side of things, and then I took a chance and bought a 7700X, which is also an excellent deal, even for gaming at 4K and even 1080p and even 1440p. It does perform very well, and if you really want to, you can do some tweaks on undervolting on that CPU and almost achieve almost kind of the levels of, for example, a 7800 XD, almost there. It's comparable to that. But yeah, some interesting things here that, again, I hope that Intel on this, I covered that yesterday on the foundry services that they're doing, and the fact that I think it's Panther Lake. Again, I always confuse the names of those CPU generation stuff there. Hopefully that by the end of this year, we'll start seeing some good news from them, especially on the CPU side of things, not only from the AI market server side of things, but on the DIY market, so they can bring a little bit more competition and keep AMD on their toes regarding at least the CPU side of things. Again, I always like competition and like a dominant, as a principal, I don't like a dominant brand or company in any kind of market, because as we've been seeing to a certain degree with NVIDIA, if they are very dominant, they just starting to get sloppy. And we got a Blackwell launch, which was a shit show so far, regarding issues, production issues, software issues, a lot of the stuff, even uplift in terms of performance from generation to generation. It's not impressive at all. But yeah, hopefully we will see some good news from Intel by the end of the year, and see if they can catch a little bit on the market share of things there. And then we got a little bit tidbits here. I did cover this, I think, on the beginning of the year regarding RAM chips or chips for memory from DDR5s, and even for VRAM chips for the GPU side of things. It's basically kind of the same industry, and there was a warning that probably we will be seeing a creeping up in terms of price increases on DDR memory, and probably on other memory modules, which by itself will increase the prices of the overall devices. And the fact that yesterday also we got the so-called Liberation Day from United States with the all the tariffs. And interestingly enough, I think South Korea was hit with what they call reciprocal tariffs of around 30% or something like that. And we know that Samsung is a South Korean company. They manufacture their own memory modules. SQ Enix, I think, is Japanese, which also would hit with higher tariffs than average, from the table that they announced there on that event. Which by itself, as a aside, seems like a little bit of a clown show, but whatever. I'm not delving into that. But yeah, all of this and the fact that the company, especially Samsung, took hit on, especially on the lockdown side of on that time period of the lockdowns. They took a hit because of low demand, and again, the AI stuff was not at the time at it is now, in terms of the FOMO and the hyping of selling this AI accelerator stuff there. Yeah, they are increasing the price here because, again, they are to recoup what they lost there to a certain extent, and even the DDR modules by themselves are relatively cheap even at this point in time. And of course, to try to avoid certain tariffs, they have to a certain degree trying to pile up the chips wherever they can, especially United States market, because of the tariff stuff there. It When you start stockpiling to a certain degree, there is less on the market. So if the demand maintains and there is less offer, prices will eventually increase, and we're probably going to see probably a rise of prices between 3 to 5% on DRAM and NAND devices, which also I forgot to tell that also affects NVMEs and SSDs. And basically, based on the data of DRAM Exchange, which is one of those exchanges that tracks prices of the chips, the we might expect DDR5 memory modules pricing rising up 12%, and the demand was mainly from HPC servers, which is the AI accelerator stuff there, while NAND pricing saw 9% rise. Uh, it shows that the demand is there, again, AI servers and all that jazz, but it isn't from PC segment, but rather from AI market, which is why prices have seen such a rise. Again, around 10%. At this moment, I think the prices are being reflected on the corporate side of things with this AI accelerator and server stuff there. But again, this kind of creeping up in prices always trickle down to the DIY market. So again, it's not something 50% in terms of rising on prices. But again, if you're thinking about it, buying something, this can be a good time as any other to a certain degree. I think this will be reflecting, I don't know, in a couple of months' time, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, if you're thinking about it, don't panic. Keep your head cool. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you're living in the United States near Micro Center or even on bigger retailers that focus on computer hardware, usually there are always some bundles here to try and soften the blow of rising prices. And you might, if you look for it, you might see some good deals there. In terms of gaming, we got another character trailer for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I'm very interested in this game. The way they are doing a turn-based combat with some tweaks here and there, with the pairing style of things, with some real-time action between the turns there. The story seems interesting. The art style, it's to my liking. And they launched the fourth character trailer. I try not to keep up too much with this game at this moment because I don't want to get any kind of spoilers. I want to be as fresh as possible for this game. The only thing that I'm waiting really is checking the reviews for this game to see if it really kind of matches to a certain degree with my expectation for this game. The game will launch April 24th, so we got around 20 days until this game launches. I'm expecting to be a pretty good game. They also announced with this more details regarding graphic modes for consoles and all that jazz. There was some trophies and achievements that I don't know if they were leaked or something like that, but again, we all know now know some of the achievements here. In terms of graphic modes, again, for PC, it seems to be what it is usually, which is fine-tune games graphics. Again, got also some presets from low to epic, all that jazz. I just hope that they could have launched a demo. I'm not aware that this came as a demo there. But yeah, Unreal Engine 5 powered game. Let's see how it goes. My main concern with this game being that it is an Unreal Engine game is frame pace and stuttering issues. But from what we saw, the game seemed pretty smooth. So we'll have to wait and see on the review side of things. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game. Hopefully, it delivers. My expectation delivers at least a serviceable story because the setup of the game is very interesting. Delivers excellent combat, which I think he will do. And all the gameplay mechanics of upgrading your characters, all that jazz, squad management seems to be, from what I see, pretty good. And then we got also the exploration. We know it's going to be more to the linear side of things. It's not going to be an open world per se exploration game, even though there is some world navigation to locales, it seems. But yeah, I'm interested in this game and I will keep my tabs on it and see how it goes. Then we got also on Monster Hunter Wilds the update or title update, free update, or whatever they are calling, is out now on all platforms. Again, I'm not going over all of this again. Again, a lot of stuff is being brought on. I think some PC performance issues are being addressed on this update. what I'm going to do is refer to YouTube channel of Rurikan. Is at the time of the recording this video is doing a live stream going about what the changes are on this title update. I will assume he will do some hunts there. Again, is pretty proficient and very knowledgeable on Monster Hunter games. So I think he's going to do some missions regarding the new monsters and the fact that they are locked between hunter ranking and all that jazz. I'm assuming that he's going to try and do all of it in this live stream that he's doing now. So I will refer to them in terms of more details regarding this game. I will leave his channel, the link of the channel on the description below. But yeah, let's see how this goes. If they're addressing at least my worry on PC is the performance side of things. Hopefully they can address as soon as possible this, and hopefully this title update will bring some improvements on that side. Yesterday, South of Midnight hit early access on Steam. Again, when I first saw the first trailer, I don't know if I think it was an Xbox showcase or something like that. I don't know when. I know it was last year. I don't know when they did the first reveal of this game. I thought it interesting, not only for the art style, but the supposed themes that they were tackling. And then we got the information that basically this game is, let's say, lack of better terms, infested with consultancy from Sweet Baby Inc. And I think even Kim Belair worked directly and personally with this game in terms of consulting on this one. And it's a shame because the game has a lot. I think this game could have uh, tell and let players explore a little bit. I don't know, because this is a and southern parts of United States, Alabama. Um, Again, I think it has a lot of what we can call Creole culture associated with it. I think it could be a good, some good themes there could be explored, but it seems to be a shit show in terms of the usual stuff of DEIs and Jedi's and all that jazz and ESGs. Because again, according to Compulsion Games, South of Midnight supposedly is an action adventure game that allows players to explore the mythos and confront mysterious creature of the deep south in a modern folk tale. The problem is that the wording here, while learning to weave an ancient power to surmount obstacles and unravel your family's hidden past. Again, the setup by itself at face value seemed pretty good. The art style I really did enjoy. I watched some gameplay. I think in terms of mechanically seems okay from what I read of a couple of previews that people were making. But yeah, the fact that it has Sweet Baby Inc. involved, again, I don't think it's going to be a hot seller. We got some numbers here. Not a lot of players are interested in this game, at least as an early access. Again, the numbers, again, I will assume, unless it is a kind of a Concord number thing here, which had more players on early access than when the game launched. I'm not. We are not going to see huge amount of interest from this game. Again, at the time of recording, the numbers already dropped here. Not even 500 people played, and at this moment is around 150. I'm not sure if this game is going to do huge amounts of sales here. But again, it's even coming to Xbox Game Pass at launch after the early access is done. But yeah, this goes in line to reinforce that Sweet Baby Inc., the involvement of some of the latest fumbles. We got Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Nobody already remembers that game. That game was also seemed pretty good, at least from the setup that they were trying to go. But it seemed to be again, it not seemed it was a shit show of a game, very incomplete with a lot of again with the ESG, very similar to an Online Awakening, and even the other game. I completely forgot the name. Again, these games are so forgettable that I completely forget the title names. It was in the same kind of couple of months. We got Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, an Online Awakening. They hit 650 peak players, and an online hit not even 300 ones. There was another one, which was the girl that traveled to another universe, got a talking bracelet. I completely forgot the name of that game, and the dialogue was completely obnoxious. And then we got also, of course, the fact that they were involved in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. They reached the peak, not even 1,400, 14,000 players online. Again, it demonstrates that this game is not, it's not going to sell pretty good because of the involvement that we are seeing with this consultancy firm here. And with that, even from the studio itself, okay, sorry, got interrupted there. I was talking about the community managers here, especially from the compulsion games part of things here. And again, I really don't understand. You have an own IP. They are not a very highly renowned, or they don't have they are not working again in an IP that is going to automatically sell games. And before the game comes out, you're already disparaging and belittling the your potential customers. Usually, it's not a good tactic there. Again, honestly, hate gamers from this lady. You're not going to again. Some of the comments here are laughable. You're not going to tickle some people's fancy being outspoken or tweeting things like I do when I say white male gamers were a mistake. I like to think that my kind of presence acts as a way to kind of show people like, hey, you can be outspoken, you can have a backbone and stand for something and still be successful. Again, even with this kind of language here, it's not even the likes. Again, I don't understand, but yeah. Um, Again, this comes to the point that from time to time I really do like to pinpoint, which is especially with developers like the Matt whatever from Avowed and all that jazz. People tend to forget when you work for a company. Um, Everything that you speak publicly, especially on social media, and especially as your role as whatever, in this case, community manager or the art director or whatever it is, you're representing the company itself. It's not you might think you're speaking and giving your own opinion, but it's going to always backfire and tie back to to the company that you are working and representing. And usually, these kind of more public positions are always going to be taken as a company's perspective. Whatever, 24/7, whatever you speak, you're basically speaking for the company. And I think they, again, for me, I don't have an issue. At least they are upfront what they are thinking, and to a certain extent reflect the company's policies regarding if they want to sell a good game or not, and their policies also regarding potential customers, which again, as I mentioned, regarding when I saw the first trailer for this game without any uh, previous information about this game, I thought it very interesting, and I was very curious on seeing what this game was about, and I wanted more information to maybe buy the game and try it out for myself. At least from the information that I got us from the first trailer, seemed very interesting and good. But yeah, did it unravel pretty fast with more information came out of them. And then we got also this is more on the person that wrote this article. The company, which is the company that is doing this game, Compulsion Games, applauded Crystal Dynamics for including a trigger warning in front of Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered, starring Lara Croft games. Again, it's one of those things that, again, these trigger warnings with movies, series, or remasters of this kind of media, or relaunching with these trigger warnings again. I think it's insulting to people, mainly because they think people cannot take context of what the game is, or when the time of this game was made, even if they are even if they are right regarding offensive depictions and misrepresenting what the culture of certain peoples have. Again, I think people can distinguish if it is offensive or not. Again, people with common sense, which to a certain degree is not that common in these days. But yeah, Yeah, they applauded this thing here again, and the way they go about it regarding this trigger warning is very telling. Many video games are a product of times when times they were created in. As we look to recreate and remaster these stories for modern audience, again, the wording for modern, there is no modern audiences, but that's another discussion. It's important to consider the implication of these harmful portrayals and do our part to rewrite new history, not repeat it. Again, I like people to explain to me what is rewriting new history. Um, it doesn't make sense by the logic of what they are trying to do here. I think it serves best if they think the story is not written in the best way. I think they should tackle and try to do what they think it's the good history, which supposedly is what this game is one of these examples, but it's not going to sell because people are not interested in um, modern audiences and all of this kind of blabbering stuff there. And then they concluded, we applaud our peers at Crystal Dynamics for their reflections and corrections. Again, I don't think there is nothing to correct there in that sense regarding trigger warnings. Again, I think the only trigger warning is let people know that it's a remaster, not the original one or a new game. It's the only trigger warning that I might see to be included there. But yeah, this game is not going to sell very well. I think it's going to be a flounder. They are going to because it's on Xbox Game Pass. They will try to flounder and tell big numbers like Assassin's Creed Shadows with the 3 million players. Again, they will tout, probably people will check this game out of curiosity if they have Game Pass, and people will say, I don't know the numbers, but probably 1 million players in 1 month, maybe that's the number they will come up with out of nowhere. But yeah, I don't think this is looking good for them. Uh, Again, Sweet Baby Inc. involvement. Then we got a little bit more details regarding Ubisoft and the shenanigans that they did with the Ubisoft too. So the new company with the biggest IPs, with 25% of Tencent putting 1.16 billion euros into it. And sorry about that. And Ubisoft shareholders, of course, are not happy. AG Investments that is being fighting and it seems to be fighting and complaining a lot because again they, even though they are minority stakeholder or shareholder, they managed to scrounge around and get other minority shareholders to basically form a group there, and they announced they are going to launch a legal battle against the company, and they are demanding a renegotiation of the recently announced deal with Tencent. Again, one of the things that was not even mentioned with with this new subsidiary is how the fact that you're going to transfer this for a new subsidiary, if the shareholders, all the shareholders that are shareholders of Ubisoft, they are not going to take part of this new subsidiary. Again, it's a little bit strange, and I think this is not going to end well for Ubisoft if this goes forward. And again, they announced that in coalition with shareholders, they are going to initiating legal proceedings in France. Basically, what they are demanding is that the French court compel Ubisoft to convene an extraordinary general meeting so that shareholders can vote to have Ubisoft renegotiate the Tencent deal and distribute an extraordinary dividend. And it wants both Tencent and Guillemot Brothers Holding to be barred from voting. Um Again, they comment also that shareholders have no clarity how the deal that was announced last week will eventually benefit shareholders of Ubisoft. Um, Again, even after this thing, the shares fall around 20% more. But yeah, the fact that even the shares fall off, it signals a clear verdict from investors. The proposed deal is deeply flawed, structured to bypass mandatory public offer rules, and designated and designed to entrench control by the Guillemot family, who now hold less than 10% of the company economic interest. And finally, the company stated that shareholders will should choose on whether Ubisoft sell the core IPs to the Tencent as a whole or sell them the 25% stake in the subsidiary that was already announced. Again, this comes in line with the fact that, taking in consideration that Ubisoft by itself has basically the Guillemot owns around 10% of shares on Ubisoft. I think Tencent on Ubisoft is even less than that, I think, or around that 10%. And then you got a lot of minority shareholders, which is the rest of the company. It's not even having a say on this. It's a little bit weird. And again, with that announcement, they didn't even announce any kind of dividends of this supposed investment from the subsidiary. And again, 25% to Tencent and supposedly 75% to the Guillemot family. Again, passing those IP licenses, because it's not the IPs themselves that are going to be transferred there. I think it's a licensing deal. But then again, the fact that the rest of the shareholders are not having a say on this kind of things, it really was very weird to me. But again, it seems that they are going full bore on putting a lawsuit and prevent this thing from happening again, which is just going to even put more wood to the fire of what is already a burning Ubisoft. But yeah, sorry about that little interruption. We're going to wrap up here with some gaming deals. We have Midnight Suns. It's 80%, 85% off, sorry, and 80% on the Digital Plus edition. Again, I do recommend this game, especially at this price point. I did a gaming series on this one. If you're curious about it, check the first couple of episodes of my gameplay series there to have an idea how good this game is. We got Guardians of the Galaxy. It seems a very positive feedback from the community. I managed to claim this game for free on Epic Game Store. I will eventually will do a gameplay series on this one because I'm curious on getting and check this game out. We got BioShock the Collection still on sale, 85% off, free games. The first two are the remastered versions, BioShock Infinite, and all of the DLC associated with those. Got Batman Arkham Collection again, Game of the Year editions in all of them, and Arkham Knight got the season pass included there. Then we got Red Dead Redemption 2 is 75% off. The Ultimate Collection is 80%. Again, it's not a huge difference in prices, but I'm not sure if the Ultimate Edition does compensate the fact that you're paying extra for just some visual skins. I'm not sure. But yeah, pretty good game. It's one of those that I will try one of these days for sure. Then we got Atomic Heart still on sale, 67% off in all editions. We got No Man's Sky, 60% off, including the latest relic updates. Again, archaeological kind of gameplay mechanics there, plus museums and all that jazz. And then lastly, we got Pacific Drive, 40% off on the the base edition of this game. This is one of those that I'm also interested in one of these days and trying it out for myself. But yeah, this is about it. I think I rambled a little bit today, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I will wrap up here with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. The extra support is more in line for me to be able to get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and also extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunami Master out.